Well, back here at the War Memorial, where we are shining a light on veterans and their service. Earlier today, the VA held an informational event on a newly enacted law that expands the level of medical coverage to veterans that has not been seen in the history of the VA. That new coverage means a lot of service members will now get the help they need due to toxic chemical exposure while they were in service. And for Vietnam vets, that is significant. Every Friday morning at 6, Vietnam veterans can be found hanging out at Sully's Grill.
Where you go, you always know that the good times go rolling along.
Glenn Fieber was 18 years old when he was dropped in a Vietnam village.
They helicoptered me into a place called Thanh Linh, Vietnam. That was deep inside the jungle villages. Then we would go out on ambushes, anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. With 2 of us with the Vietnamese soldiers.
He, like many of the 2.7 million veterans who served in Vietnam, came in contact with the toxic chemical Agent Orange.
How significant was Agent Orange in your time?
In Thanh Linh, Agent Orange was very prolific. Of course, they never told us. I didn't know it was out there until we got back here.
For some who suffered complications from the exposure, it was recognition nearly 20 years after the fact by the government.
And all of us are kind of suspecting that someday it's going to come out in us because it's come out in so many of our friends.
Fast forward, President Biden recently signed the PACT Act into law. It expands medical coverage for veterans who have been exposed to toxic chemicals like Agent Orange.
Right, it's like taking a deep breath.
Friday afternoon, the VA held an information session for veterans to learn more about these expanded benefits.
This is huge.
Dwayne Honeycutt, director of the Milwaukee Regional Office for VA Benefits.
It's not just the veteran. It's going to impact the survivors, their spouses, their children, home loans, education benefits. There's a myriad of things that they will be able to take advantage of that maybe they hadn't in the past, which is, it's heartwarming.
Back at Sully's, Glenn praises the new coverage for his veteran brothers and sisters.
And that's a wonderful thing because we're out there sacrificing our lives, and so we're very appreciative of this new bill.
So we looked deeper into the impacts of the PACT Act. For Gulf War era and post 9/11 veterans, open air pits were used to burn everything from trash to human waste to chemicals at military sites. It's estimated 3.5 million serving members were exposed in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Now, in addition, the law allows family members of veterans who lived at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina from the early 1950s to the late 1980s to take legal action against the government. Toxins in the water have led many who lived there during that era to experience serious health problems.